So this evening, I'm going to be covering, as Erica mentioned, the kidneys. And I'm going to place here in the chat the reference book that I'll be referring to. I'm going to go ahead and spotlight. Okay. So most of us know that somewhere around 80% of our body is made of water. And Erica mentioned right at her closing that, Father has a sweet water that waits for us. And our kidneys, being that that's the organ for this upcoming month, that helps with filtration of waste. And the water in our bodies also store a memory. So up in the chat, I placed a couple other resources. Veda Austin and then Dr. Emoto have some information on the frequency and the memory that water stores. So let's look back in some scripture and some thoughts about the smallest amount of faith can move mountains. So that shows the power of our thoughts. Our thoughts are stored in our liquid computer, also known as our body. Negative thoughts or words, we have to remember those aren't in God's will. And we can begin to deteriorate and unable to receive God's blessings when we're walking around in negativity. So if we stop and think about what a stream or a creek looks like when it's polluted, what do negative thoughts do to our streams inside of our body? And remember, our kidneys have to filter out our water. If we all say and do is recorded in our water, then it's no wonder that we get all gunked up, right? And just stopping to think, I was listening to a teaching, and if we wake up in the morning and we walk into the bathroom and we take a look in the mirror and we're like, or I look at the bags under my eyes, or look how my hair is, or I don't even look like I rested and it's just going to be a yuck kind of day, right? So if we wake up and say that exact thing to ourselves, then those things get stuck in our streams and our body, and then it relies on our kidneys to filter that out. And I know that Rhonda's going to mention a few of the things that have to do with our emotions as well. But I just wanted to mention that because as we've walked through this over the last year, we know that our emotions can affect our health, and they can bring health or bring illness. So the book that I mentioned in the chat is Dr. Manzo's Aleph Tav Body System, Restoring the Hebrew Bioenergetic Temple. So I looked through and found a connection with the kidney, and it happens to be in the 4th cycle of life manifestation. And he has such great details. I can't cover every single thing here, but I'm going to move through a few of them. So the main functions of cycle 4, the 4th cycle, it controls water and muscles in the body, the urinary and the reproductive systems, the neuroendocrine system, partial control over our immune system, more specific to special forces of the immune system, ears and hearing loss or hearing issues, low back and leg issues, fear versus faith. And Erica just brought that up about having faith and just trusting that his plan, he has us covered. He'll provide us with manna and quail, whatever it is that we need, fresh drinking water. It mentions here that fear kills more than any other attitude, emotion, or feeling. And the saying of scared to death, that actually embeds into our computer system of our body. I thought it was interesting the color is blue, The organs, as mentioned, are the bladder, the kidney, the reproductive system, and our ears. So I stop and think about that, the things that we hear, right? Hear about ourselves or say about ourselves. Going down into the muscles, that's the depth. We have a finger that is related to this cycle, and it happens to be the index finger, the first finger on either hand. So both of these, and I'll talk about that in a second, on helping to reset this cycle in our body. The spine, the brain, the autonomic nervous system, and sympathetic. And then I've also put in the chat, Tammy Sorensen. She is a musical therapist. She has on the YouTube, she has a YouTube channel, and you can check that out. But the hertz for the musical note is 741. And that is, if you check out her YouTube, it has it right there. It is for rest and restoring. It also helps with detoxifying. So just those frequencies that resonate through our body, through our ears. Okay, so going back to the ear thing again. And I was showing Rhonda and Erica earlier. This is a 741 hertz tuning fork. And so it won't penetrate through the speaker of my phone, but just using this and then surrounding the air, you know, putting it out into the atmosphere here and just using that. That is something I'll be working on getting training in and using that to help my family, help myself, and help others. I look at the which day of creation. It's day 4. Lights in the sky, and it divides the night and the day. So there's just such a whole blending of all of this placed together. And Father just wants us to not only read his word, but then look around and see those things that he's put here for us, right? The things we say and the things we hear. One other addition, there is it's called remnantremedy.com. I'll put it in the chat here in a minute. But she makes, it's Nitsa Moshe, blends oils. And this one happens to be cycle 4. And the ingredients, they're essential oils. The ingredients are cinnamon, clove, tea tree, lemongrass, spikenard, oregano, and wormwood. So, and what I'll show there's a chart that'll come up here in a minute, talking about the points on our body. But this oil can be placed on those points when you're working through restoring of cycle 4. So I mentioned earlier the index finger. So to help restore that, it's simply embracing your entire index finger gently, and you can rotate left or right one at a time. And in the Aleph Tav, holding this point for around a minimum of 5 minutes, and just, you can rotate. And that helps your whole system of all those organs that I just mentioned. Flipping back here to the back, I just wanted to share this too. And I don't have a chart to show you tonight on this, but there's a messenger pathway that runs from the top of our head all the way down to our heel, and actually the plantar, the bottom surface of our foot, and all the way to the pinky toe. So Father has it all the way lined up. There is a point, and I'll share that on the screen here in a minute with the chart. And you would think, since this is kidney related, it would be like a point on your back near your kidney, but it is on your back, but it's up a little bit higher. But I'll show you here in a second on where to find the point. The time on the clock for this particular cycle is between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. There is the organs would be the kidneys and the adrenals, the bladder, your muscles, your ears, reproductive organs, your brain, your tongue, your lungs, and your throat. And there is a spot here in your throat. I know it's called some people use the word chakra. I don't particularly use that, but it's the root plexus. Okay. And that's found here in your throat. And I thought that was pretty neat, because just thinking about the words that we swallow or the things that come out of our throat, out of our mouth. I was listening to something else about 2 ears, 2 eyes, that's 4, 2 nostril, right? 6, and then our mouth. So you're just looking at, there's 7 things here, but our tongue is protected to sit behind our teeth. We know that that can be a double-edged sword. So that, that whole picture was something that I hadn't even realized occurred before in my mind. So the body and the communication function, you may be looking at possibly sweating too much or not sweating enough. We're thinking about water here. Adrenal issues, your the toxins, fevers, and your weak legs or muscles. Children that are fussy, there could be, the 4th cycle with them. Nosebleeds, vertigo, dizziness, so that's related, could be related to your ear as well. And the mental and the emotional would be fear, anxiety, lack, depression, any mental issues, terror, criticism, missing of love, uptight, phobias, no faith, stress, and negativity. And I'm trying to see here how to find the chart, Erica. Let's see. I think if you open up there in the chat, there's the Olive Tav body chart, and the point is actually located.
I also have it on my slides.
Okay.
Or did it? Well, maybe. Hold on, I'm not sure.
It's number 23.
If you want me to screen share while.
Well, I mean, so if anyone wants to open that up, and that's online. So if you pull up the Olive Tav body system chart, Dr. Manzo has it up there for the public. But so it's LFM, which is that's your point, number 23. So in both of those points on that chart, it'll show it just on one side, but they're on both. They're bilateral. So it's right actually below the base of your last rib towards your spine. So that wouldn't be something you could necessarily do on yourself. Someone else could apply that to you, but you have your index fingers that you can do to help yourself reset. And does anyone have any questions?
I was curious, since you're studying the Olive Tav body system, I have a close friend. She, in her first pregnancy, she dealt with a little bit of swelling, and she's about 38 weeks. And tomorrow I'm actually going to be seeing her at our midweek service, and I was going to give her linen socks to hopefully help with circulation that we haven't worn yet, but I was wondering if there's anything that you might recommend other than, I've recommended just like elevating her legs and keeping herself relaxed, but I know that I think in her last pregnancy, her doctors were a little concerned about that, and she had stayed home from Sunday church this past Sunday just to relax, and her blood pressure was a little bit elevated, but I think that hopefully went down. She said that it did once she had some rest, but if there's anything else that you'd recommend that would be helpful then. yeah, I'm open to that I can share with her.
Okay, actually, I'll pull up some information and send it over to you. She's 38 weeks.
Yep, she's
Okay.
38 weeks, so
She's
she's
almost
due
there.
like yep, right at the end.
Yeah.
Yep, she's her due date is at the end of April, right at the end, a couple days before
Okay.
May.
Okay. Yeah, so
Yeah.
she's actually full term. That's good.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, Caitlin, I can send you something just on some dietary things with that.
Sure.
With, you know, the points, obviously you wouldn't use tuning forks or anything like that. And, you know, there's just some things as an expected mom you can't do, but
Right.
there's other simple things that you can. And a lot of times it's, I'll send you a dietary thing that I have found helpful through all of my
Okay.
pregnancies and with some other moms.
Yep, I know that for me, like just like low sodium was helpful, but that's the first thing that came to my mind, and then just elevating her legs above the heart. But I'm not sure if like maybe like there's like certain techniques like for like massaging like or whatever that her husband could help her with to like just, you know, help the blood flow from like circulating right in the leg to where it's supposed to be back to the heart, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate
Sure.
that. You can send me a message on band if you want.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, Tish. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
That wraps up my section.
That
Rhonda,
was awesome.
it's all
Thank you.
yours.
Okay. Hi everyone. You just have to excuse my raspy voice, or if I have to stop and blow my nose, I've got a little cold going on over here. The joys of working with many children. So, yeah, this morning, I messaged Tish and Erica and just let them know I wasn't feeling well and I wasn't sure about sharing anything. And, you know, and they both immediately responded and sent me words of encouragement and prayer. And that thought spurred some thoughts, some connecting thoughts that I had this month with the letter Vav, and it being a connector, the connector of the 2 months, because one of the as I started thanking them, I started writing, and this whole dialogue of the connection came. And I mentioned to them that I was experiencing a shift. I could physically feel a shift occurring going into the second month. So from the first month of Nisan, in the walking out that the Israelites did in Egypt, into a new uncharted on territory of, you know, the territory of promise and freedom. And but there was turmoil, there was, you know, pain that was associated with that. And so I just started thinking, it seems like all of us, or at least those within my circle, are going through some pretty painful emotional situations right now. And it just stuck out to me because it seems a little more than normal. And so Erica sent me little prayers telling me that she was praying for restoration, that it would continue. And she said, you know, sometimes it's 3 feet forward and 2 back or more at times, but like the Israelites wandering, it's all for a reason. And so that got me thinking, you know, I've actually had this thought many times in the last cycle, this last year, about ironically being able to come to a place of gratitude and thank the Father for a situation that he brought me out of. We don't always have a heart of gratitude in the midst of it when we're walking through it, but when we walk out of it, we can look back and say, thank you, Father, because we have insights. We've learned some things along the way. And those things make us stronger. Those things allow us to share and to pour into others that are on their journey and on a similar path. right? We are all on the same journey, but we're not at the same place. And so I believe that, those in the front are able to give encouragement for those coming in the back. And so I'm just going to just read the thought that I shared with Tisha and Erica this morning. I said, it seems like we're all going through something emotionally. And if I can add to your thought, Erica, and Israelites, I found myself relating to their journey more and more with my own journey this month. For they, like us, felt the weight of their burdens and the awareness of change as Passover approached. And afterwards, the Israelites started out celebrating during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. But as they continued on their journey, they were soon faced with what felt like overwhelming obstacles. The Egyptians coming after them with their mighty armor, which would be our heart prayers being attacked, and the Red Sea ahead of them, which are situations or people blocking our resolve to go forth, doubt and discord and despair lapping at the shores of our spirits. Yet Yahweh was ahead. He was preparing a great wind, displaying his might compared to that of the mighty army of the Pharaoh. Once again, Yahweh was using his breath to separate the waters, just as he did the first day of creation. And at his word, he drew light from darkness then, and there at the Red Sea, he drew forth tikva, hope, from the face of death. Yahweh's Ruach went forth, directing their path to his promised land, a better place, sealing off everything behind them, closing the door on the past. And like Erica mentioned, with the number 2 having to do with division and separate, the Father separated the sea that the Israelites traveled through, and he separated them from their past life. He separated them for sanctification as he brought them into his own place of calling. And so I just want to encourage anybody, we all have our trials, but some days, some seasons feel extra heavy. And so try to visualize, remember the visualization of the Father parting those mighty seas. And as he did that, providing everything that they needed, he provided dry ground, and he swiped out all the obstacles. And even though there were things coming behind, the Israelites could sense and fear, we can still sense. We know that as we go forward in our prayers, asking for resolve in situations in our life, we know that there's things still looming in life. We know that they're unresolved. We don't know when when the Father's going to bring us out. But if we keep walking one foot at a time, and if we can walk together, there was a mighty group there, and they had resolve. They may not have been all in the same place in their thoughts, right? The thoughts, that's the sense for this coming month. But if we keep our thoughts in a good place, then it's the Father. It allows the Father to be able to speak through those places. It's like us having clear thoughts gives the Father a clear path for his rock to flow through, to speak into, to bring a fresh wind, to bring fresh air in the places that feel so tight and confined. The thoughts that we can have can either make or break us. If we keep our eyes on the Father, if we keep going, he's the light. He was the wind. He sent that wind ahead. It was so mighty. He does the same for us today. He does the same for us today if we just keep our eyes on him, if we keep our thoughts in the place on him, on his goodness. On his goodness. So I guess, in the month of Iyar displays Yahweh's brilliance for us, just as it did that first month that the Israelites walked through. Now, the next couple of months, we're going to keep journeying. We're going to learn about their journey. And I'm encouraging you, look for connections that for their journey compared to ours, they're not much different. They really aren't. And so everything that the Father did for them, he does for us. and he's willing because he knows we're all on that same path. So I love the ocean. That is where my heart is. And I can only imagine all the things that surfaced there when the Israelites came to the shores of that sea before the Father had separated them. Impending doom behind them. Overwhelming doubt and fear, I'm sure, but the Father opened the way. He opened the way. So I'm just going to encourage you, because I'm encouraging myself as I'm at a difficult place right now with family, but I know the Father's light shines within us. He shines forth. It's his brilliance that will keep us going. When we're in the shadows, we're in the depths back there. Everyone at the back of the line, they could see what the Father was doing ahead for them. That's what we can do. When we're at the back of the line, keep looking, look for the light, because Yahweh's brilliance is there and it shines for them just as much as it does for us. So I encourage you, and I'm wishing you blessings in this month. Okay, Tish, that's it for me.